Good morning, Tauruses. Let's see what our past life want us to relove about ourselves for July 26th to August 7th, 2018. I see that we tapped into our Pharaoh side of self and how to forgive ourselves and others. So let's see. God, Gaia, God, Goddess. Woo! Yes, 3 past life cards wanted to come out for us. I guess we got to do definitely some homework up here. Okay. What actions will we take for July 26th to August 7th? What actions will we take? What actions will Taurus take for July 26th? All right. Okay, our past life wants us to relove and relearn about ourselves. That in our past lives, we were monks. I understand that. That is understandable. In order for Taurus resides in the second house. The second house is a house of self, of worth, right? This is where we learn our self-worth. How do we learn our self-worth? Is by understanding the universal principles of what makes a human being, right? And in order for us to have learned that, we had alliance of being a monk, and we took a vow of being a monk or a nun. Our faith is always with us wherever we go. We carry our faith wherever we go. In everything that we do, even how we speak, we naturally do that. How we can translate that into the now is going to be our challenge. How to connect your spiritual side of self to your material world, to your earthly world, will be the course that we will take. So, or the direction that we're heading towards. So let's see what Dorian Virtue says about monk and nun. You drew this card as a result of your past lifetimes as a monk, nun, or someone similar. This means that you lived a life filled with isolation, rules, and spiritual devotion. Yes. I can say I'm used to doing that. That's how I learned how to understand others and myself. I don't want to be around people while still trying to learn it, because what do they say? We're like a bull in a china shop, just messing up things, which I don't believe is true. So that we had to learn how to center ourselves while still being present around others. Okay? In your lifetime now, you may notice your tendency to isolate yourself from others. In fact, you likely feel more or most comfortable when you are by yourself. I just finished feeling that and saying that. Other people may even refer to you as a monk. I wouldn't be surprised. Or Buddha, or Christ, or high priestess, priest, magi, someone of spiritual high regard, they always call us, or guru, magician. The list goes on. Let me go back to the book. If this pattern is interfering with your relationships, you might consider having sessions with a qualified past life regressionist. Right? In addition, you may have taken vows as a monk or nun that may be interfering with your relationships, career, and more. Unless these vows are severed, they carry forward through time. So, for instance, if you took a vow of poverty, you may be struggling today with financial insecurity. Other past life vows could be connected to chastity, which can impact your present romantic life, or self-denial, which causes you to feel undeserving or fearful of abundance. I felt those too. I have been overcoming them since last year. Often it's enough simply to constantly bring the memories of those vows to surface in order to release them. Then it's just a matter of clearly severing them or severing them in all directions of time. You can do this by simply saying the following: I hereby sever and release any vows that are self-destructive in all directions of time for everyone involved. I hereby sever and release any vows that are self-destructive in all directions of time for everyone involved. I hereby cut and release any vows that are self-destructive in all directions of time for everyone involved. Because it's not just us involved. It's our friends, our family, our intimate partners that we will want, the jobs that we're looking for, the career path that we were looking for. It ties into our spiritual side of ourselves. So bringing that out and remembering your past about when you took those chastity. Like for me, I could tell you, like I said from Taurus video last week, that I had good and positive relationships with Egypt. I had a good relationship in knowing of Pharaoh, but also good relationship in knowing spirituality, and the arts was considered a blessing. The arts, along with spirituality, were one and the same. It was no different. Now we had to figure out in the now how to cut those ties of chastity, cut the ties of feeling less worthiness, cut the ties of feeling lack of, cut the ties of feeling you're not good enough, because you are. We are good enough. We are. In order to make the W, you need first two, right? Which is in the house of Aries. It's funny how it's also the shape of the womb. It's also the shape of direction, which direction is one direction, right? It also is a part of the chromosome, right? When you think of science, you have this side and you have the other side, which is the same shape, to tell us what gene it is. I wouldn't have known this if I didn't touch into my monk, nun, high priestess. High priestess is spiritual too. Once we admit that outwardly to ourselves and outwardly to others, and even have conversations with others, that will cut the ties. That will actually make us see like, oh snap, I could actually infuse that into my career, or I could actually use that as a niche in my abundance. So what else does our past life want us to know about monk and nun? It definitely influenced the Greco-Roman. One time it was Greece, and one time it was Roman. Greco had the Gaia, the goddess. It knew exactly where it came from. It came from Egypt, came from Mesopotamia, it came from Samir, it came from Uruk, or Uruk, U-R-U-K, which is a part of summer. It came from Mesopotamia. It came from Phoenician. It came from Iraq. It came from Arabia. It came from India. It came from China. Every place that had civilization, yes, had to really think about that. Every part of civilization that was created, Greek took that and manifested it in the now for them. Romans were the beginning of learning where all these civilizations came, and wanted to take it in a place of action instead. One is action and one is spiritual. One was masculine, one was feminine. So I guess rather than say Greco for this and then Roman on another, at one point in history, both Greco-Romans resided close and resided to each other. When that happened, the balance between masculine and feminine, between God and goddess, was starting to become lost. And it took a Taurus, male and female Taurus, like us, to remind Greco-Romans that yes, there's nothing wrong with action. There's nothing wrong with creating something new. But you must have the ancient ways. You must have the God and goddess, the spiritual side of self, the universal, the elemental. You must know what first civilizations have done so you can have a solid foundation. And if you notice, they were starting to do that, and then they didn't want to combine masculine and feminine anymore. You notice how when we don't combine when Greco-Roman didn't want to combine feminine and masculine, the civilization became half done. It wasn't really completed yet. And our past lives want us to know that we have the opportunity to merge that masculine and feminine energies within ourselves, so wherever we're going, those principles can be translated, can be threaded into what we do. It doesn't have to be the full scope, but it could be a thread to tie everything together. Because when we tie both our ancient knowledge with our current knowledge, then the Greco-Roman part of ourselves will be remade the way it should originally started. Understanding that we need and we must acknowledge the God and Goddess. God and Goddess helped make civilization. God and Goddess made human. A man does not make a child by itself. A woman cannot make a child by itself. It takes the masculine and the feminine. It takes or if you are the same sex, does it not take the essence of the opposite sex procreation syrup to make a baby? You can't dismiss it. You either got to put it in a tube or actually be it. Either way, we cannot dismiss that. If we keep dismissing that, Tauruses, then we will still become half done. We don't want to be half done. How can we become our full selves? Is by tapping into that knighthood. See how it has the unicorn? It has the earth elements. We have the Gemini. We have the sword. We have Ra. We have the Leo and the Aries in us. We have all the signs. Because Tauruses, do you know that we are all signs inside of ourselves? We just know when to bring them out. Be the knight in the mission of merging the masculine and feminine energies together. Masculine, feminine energies together to make the whole. And if you look, when we do even a prayer, it's also acknowledging the womb of Gaia, the womb of the mother, to spring forth creation. Even how we count. We start with 0, but we dismiss that. We just say 1. We have to bring back 0, source. This is how we can merge. Even doing this changes the whole course of even math. We used to doing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We had to start with source first. And we had to be dutiful and knightly in that quest. So from July 26th to August 7th, our knightly self wants to merge the masculine and feminine energies together. This will create the now in ourselves to not feel incomplete or unfinished. Bring the masculine and feminine. Bring that out. Even if that means talking to the opposite sex to bring that out. Do that. Yes, I know I said keep to yourself. But at times obviously we can't, because sometimes keep it to ourselves causes us to feel too alone. Connect to the masculine if you're a female. Connect to the feminine if you're a man. You have to do that. If you don't, then we're always going to feel incomplete. If you do not want to speak to the opposite sex, find that masculine energy in you, Miss Taurus. What is the masculine side of you? Write those things down. Record them so you can hear yourself and what you feel the masculine side of yourself is. Same thing for male Tauruses. If you got to write or record yourself, then what do you, masculine Taurus, see? What traits do you think a feminine energy should have? When you hear yourself, right? I say definitely record, because we are the 5 senses. Don't write last, record first. Record, because we were oracle teachers. We spoke. We didn't write until after. We spoke first. So record masculine, record male Taurus, record female Taurus. What you think the opposite energy should be. Then record what you think the energy that you have should be right now. When you hear that, you'll start to hear the discordant. You'll start to hear the fraction that is there and be able to solve it with your nightly self. Okay? The actions you're going to take for July 26th to August 7th, 2018. I'm laughing because, hey, it's right here, brother. I kept right here, sister. I did say about the Gemini, right? I did talk about Ra, right? When it came to Roman. We can't dismiss Ra. We can't dismiss Leo. We can't dismiss the male because we needed the Roman to have the ability to make these structures. But they had to look to us, the Greco side of ourselves, to show the Romans how to build the structures in a spiritual way. That's where the collaboration came into part. Bring out that magician side of yourself on this one, because we definitely got to do it. Bring out that Aries side of yourself, number one, and use it in a degree that is subtle, not too obvious, but gives you that spark to rediscover, okay? You are ready. Look at that. You are ready. You have the resources. Look at that. You have the resources. Look at the knight. The knight doesn't look. The knight look trashy. No, the knight looks like his king, queen, and pharaoh has compensated him or her to go out. Same thing. Same thing. Same thing here. I don't see a monk and none with dirty clothes. I see clean clothing. And how we even got the art of clothing came from Egypt. This is why we had that card last week, to show us that from Egypt it spread throughout the world, and what happened is translation. Like any language, translation gets caught, get lost, and we have to find a way to translate or to merge both the masculine and feminine energies within ourselves onto the outside. You are ready. You have the resources or the ability to manifest them. Remember, our opposite sign is Scorpio, so we can manifest very quickly. Life is magical. Whenever you get a chime or a chance, Mr. Mrs Taurus, check out Scorpio's reading that I just finished. Until we meet again, bring out that magician side of yourself. Bring out that knight. Even though this is not an action card, I feel that this is a part of the action card. We have to bring out the knight. I'm going to also put onto the reference the makings of a knight. What traits does a knight have? And how to manifest it in and out. So until we meet again, Mr. and Miss Tauruses, I love you. I and we will see you on the other side.